The heat of the afternoon shimmered over the cracked asphalt as Camille Brooks pulled her aging sedan into the parking lot of Dale's auto garage. Her car sputtered, gave a small cough of protest, and died completely just as she rolled to a stop. She sighed, brushed a strand of hair from her face, and stepped out. Dressed simply, jeans, an old t-shirt, and worn sneakers, she didn't look like the type of customer who could afford much more than basic service. Inside, the smell of oil and grease filled the air. A radio played faintly from a workbench in the corner. Dale Turner, a stocky white man in his 40s, wiped his hands on a rag as she approached. His eyes flicked briefly to her car, then to her. "Afternoon," she said politely. "My car's been stalling every few miles. I think it's something with the fuel line or the pump. Can you take a look?" Dale leaned against the counter. "Fuel line, huh?" He chuckled, shaking his head. "You been reading car blogs or something?" Camille smiled slightly. "No, just paying attention. I've had cars all my life." He snorted. "Sure you have." He reached for a clipboard. "Look, we're pretty busy today. You got an appointment?" "No," she said, "but I can wait." He gave a short laugh. "Lady, we're booked solid till next week. You might want to try the shop across town. They do budget fixes." Camille's smile faltered. "I'm not asking for a discount. I'm asking for your time." Dale tossed the rag on the counter. "Time costs money. You sure this old thing's worth fixing?" Her eyes narrowed slightly. "It's worth it to me." He shrugged. "Suit yourself, but like I said, we're full up. Come back when you've got a newer ride. Maybe then we'll talk." A young mechanic in the back, wiping down a tool set, shot Dale an uneasy glance. "Boss, I can take a quick look if—" "No," Dale cut in sharply. "We don't need to waste time on junkers." Camille took a breath, steadying herself. "All right," she said quietly. "Thank you for your honesty." As she turned to leave, Dale called out, "Hey, no hard feelings, all right? Just business. Gotta prioritize real customers." She stopped at the door and looked back. Her voice was calm, but her words carried weight. "You might want to rethink what a real customer looks like." Then she left, walking past the row of trucks and shiny cars, head high despite the sting in her chest. Dale watched her go and smirked. "Some people just don't get how this works." The younger mechanic shook his head. "Or maybe you don't." Dale waved him off. "She'll be fine. Those types always go away." He didn't know it yet, but this type would be the one to come back. Not for a repair, but for everything he thought he owned. The next morning, Dale Turner arrived at the garage whistling, coffee in hand, ready to start another day of real business. The big bay doors were open, sunlight glinting off chrome fenders and toolboxes. His crew, mostly young guys who looked up to him, were already at work, but Dale's voice easily took over the shop. "So, guess what I had yesterday," he said loudly. Some lady rolls in with a rust bucket that barely made it off the road, starts talking like she knows cars. Fuel line this, fuel pump that. I almost laughed. The younger mechanic, Eli, looked up from under a truck. "Was she the one with the silver sedan?" "Yeah," Dale said, grinning. "Old thing looked like it belonged in a junkyard. She wanted me to drop everything and fix it right there. I told her we're booked solid." Eli frowned. "You could have helped her, boss. Didn't seem like she was asking for much." Dale chuckled and slapped the side of a car. "Kid, you'll learn. You gotta know which customers are worth your time. You start helping every person who walks in with a sad story, you'll go broke." She probably couldn't afford half the labor anyway. The others laughed. It was the kind of talk that made Dale feel in control, respected even. He liked being the guy who knew how the world worked. A few hours later, a delivery truck pulled up with new supplies. The driver, a cheerful middle-aged man, leaned on the counter. "Hey, Dale, you hear about the new investor buying up garages in the area?" Dale raised an eyebrow. "Investor? What, another chain store trying to take over?" The driver shrugged. "Nah, from what I heard, it's some private buyer. Big money. They already bought out Baker's Auto 2 towns over. Supposed to be expanding under a new name. Brooks Automotive Group or something like that." Dale laughed. "Brooks? Sounds fancy. Probably some corporate suit who's never even changed a tire." "Maybe," the driver said with a grin, "but they sure know how to pick profitable shops." When the truck left, Dale turned to his crew. "See? That's what I mean. These suits buy everything up, run it like a coffee shop, and then wonder why real mechanics don't stick around. People like me keep the trade alive." Eli didn't reply. He just went back to his work, shaking his head slightly. By noon, Dale had forgotten all about the woman from yesterday. To him, she was just another nobody passing through. But that same woman was sitting across town in a glass-walled office, signing a document with a calm smile. "Acquisition finalized," said the lawyer beside her. "As of next week, you officially own Dale's Auto Garage." Camille Brooks looked at the paper, then out the window toward the skyline. "Good," she said softly. "It's time some people learned what respect costs." 3 days later, Dale's Auto Garage buzzed as usual. The clatter of tools, the hiss of air compressors, the metallic rhythm of business as usual. Dale barked orders, chewing on a toothpick, unaware that his easy arrogance was about to meet its reckoning. A sleek black SUV pulled into the lot, its engine purring like a cat. Dale barely looked up. "Another fancy car," he muttered. "Let's hope this one's got a driver who knows what she wants." The driver's door opened and Camille Brooks stepped out. Gone were the worn jeans and old sneakers. Today she wore a tailored navy suit, heels clicking against the concrete. Her hair was pulled back neatly, her posture confident. Dale squinted. She looked familiar, but he couldn't quite place her. "Can I help you, ma'am?" he asked, suddenly polite. Camille smiled faintly. "Actually, I believe I'm the one who can help you." He frowned. "Excuse me? Is the owner here?" she asked. Dale puffed his chest. "You're looking at him. Been running this place for 15 years. Camille nodded thoughtfully. "That's good. Then this will be easier." He crossed his arms. "What's this about?" At that moment, a man in a gray suit stepped out of the SUV, Mr. Lang, her business lawyer. He carried a folder and handed Dale an envelope. Dale blinked, confused. "What's this?" "Legal transfer documents," Lang said smoothly. "As of this morning, the business known as Dale's Auto Garage is under new ownership. Brooks Automotive Group." The words hit like a wrench to the chest. Dale laughed awkwardly. "This is some kind of joke, right? You can't just buy a man's shop without—" Camille cut in, her tone calm but firm. "Without his consent? You're right, but your landlord sold the property. You leased the space, remember?" Dale's face went pale. Camille stepped closer. "You told me to come back when I had a newer car. I decided to come back with something better. The deed to your business." The shop fell silent. Even the air compressor hissed to a stop. Dale's crew stared, jaws slack. "You?" he stammered. "You're the lady with the sedan." She tilted her head. "I am. The one you said wasn't worth your time." For the first time, Dale couldn't find words. His smirk was gone. His hands, always steady, trembled slightly. Camille handed him a paper. "You'll find all the details there. The sale, your employment options, everything. I'm not here to humiliate you, Mr. Turner. I'm here to rebuild this place with respect." He swallowed hard. "You're keeping me on?" "That depends," she said softly. "Can you treat every customer the way you'd treat me now?" Dale's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Camille looked around the shop. "This garage has potential. It just needed someone who sees value in people, not appearances." She turned to leave, her heels echoing across the concrete floor. "I'll be back tomorrow for the first staff meeting. Don't be late. We have work to do." When she stepped outside, the sunlight hit her face, warm, steady, triumphant. Inside, Dale stood frozen, realizing he hadn't just lost a customer. He'd lost control of everything. The next morning, Dale's auto garage didn't feel like the same place. The mechanics showed up early, uneasy and whispering to each other as they cleaned their stations. No one was sure what to expect. At exactly 9 a.m., a dark SUV pulled up. Camille Brooks stepped out, dressed simply but sharply. Dark jeans, white blouse, no jewelry except a watch. She didn't need to prove her worth. Her calm authority did it for her. Dale was already there, standing by the counter, shoulders stiff. He had barely slept. The papers had been real. The ownership had transferred. The shop he'd built for 15 years was now hers. Camille walked in, looked around, and nodded. "Morning, everyone." The room fell silent. She stepped forward. "I know this is unexpected. Change usually is. But I didn't buy this garage to tear it down. I bought it to build something better, something fair." The younger mechanic, Eli, stepped forward. "Ma'am, if I can say, this place could use that." Camille smiled faintly. "Then we're already on the same page." She turned her attention to Dale. Mr. Turner, you've run this place for a long time. You know your craft. But leadership isn't just about skill. It's about how you treat people, customers, and your team alike. Dale's jaw tightened. Look, I might have said some things I shouldn't have, but I kept this place running on hard work. Camille met his eyes. I don't doubt that. But respect is also hard work. And from now on, it's part of the job. She looked at the team. No more judging customers by their clothes, their cars, or how they talk. Every person who walks in here deserves attention and honesty. If you can't do that, this isn't your place anymore. The room was silent for a beat. Then Eli nodded slowly. Sounds fair. Camille's tone softened. Good, because I don't want a staff that fears me. I want a team that takes pride in what we do, just like the people who come to us for help. She turned back to Dale. You'll stay on for now. I believe people can change. But I'll be watching, not to punish you, but to see if you're ready to lead differently. Dale's voice was low. You're giving me another chance. Camille nodded. Everyone deserves one. You once refused me service because of what you assumed about me. I won't make the same mistake. The crew exchanged glances. Something about her tone commanded quiet respect, not through fear, but through presence. Camille smiled slightly. All right, meeting's over. Let's get back to work. As the team dispersed, Eli turned to Dale. She's the real deal, huh? Dale sighed. Yeah, and I think I just met the kind of boss I should have been years ago. Camille stepped outside, the sunlight reflecting off the garage sign. She looked up, already picturing it repainted. Not Dale's auto garage, but something new. Brooks Auto Repair. Service with respect. A week later, Brooks Auto Repair opened under its new name. The sign was fresh, the office clean, and the entire staff looked sharper. Uniforms pressed, tools organized, attitudes changed. The difference wasn't just in how the shop looked, it was in how it felt. That morning, a customer drove in. An older man in overalls with a dented pickup truck. He stepped out nervously, clutching a folded paper. My brakes have been acting funny. Don't have much money, but I need this truck for work. Dale Turner looked up from the counter. A week ago, he might have waved the man away without a second thought. Now, he paused, exhaled, and walked over. Sir, he said evenly, let's take a look and see what we can do. We'll figure out something fair. The man's shoulders relaxed. Thank you. I went to another shop earlier and they... Yeah, Dale interrupted softly. I know how that goes. He opened the hood himself, not handing it off to Eli, not rushing. He got his hands dirty again. For the first time in a long while, he wasn't working to prove something. He was working to help. Inside the office, Camille Brooks watched through the window. She'd seen enough. When the repair was finished, the customer tried to pay, but Dale shook his head. You can cover the parts. Labor's on me this time. The man blinked. Are you sure? Dale smiled faintly. Positive. Just come back if anything feels off. We'll make it right. After the truck rolled out, Camille stepped out of her office. Nice work, she said simply. Dale wiped his hands on a rag. Did what needed to be done. She nodded. That's the difference. Last month, you wanted to run this place. Today, you deserve to. Dale met her gaze. Guess I needed to lose it to learn that. Camille smiled. Most people do. The question is whether they stay down or stand up wiser. He looked around the garage, the team working smoothly, customers chatting happily in the waiting area, sunlight spilling across clean floors. It felt right. Thanks for not firing me, he said finally. Camille's tone softened. You earned your second chance, don't waste it. As she turned to leave, Dale called out, Miss Brooks. She looked back. He grinned. Next time your car acts up, you know who to call. She laughed quietly. That's why I bought the place, to make sure it's in good hands. The door closed behind her. Dale looked down at his grease-stained palms and smiled, for the first time, proud of what they stood for.